iVillage Live, the Diabetes Drug Safety Alert. It's been all over the news and could impact 18 million Americans. Sissy Schaefer and Namwad Delaney have the information you need to protect yourself and your loved ones. And taking some of the stress out of getting married, the tips no bride or mother of the bride should miss. And we're helping raise your home's IQ. It's all happening right here, right now on iVillage Live.
Welcome to iVillage Live from Universal Orlando Resort.
You know, millions of diabetics are on edge today following breaking news of a new study linking a popular diabetes drug with heart problems. And we're going to tell you all you need to know.
Yeah, Janice Armstrong of the Philadelphia Daily News and Dr. Todd Husty have all of the details on this breaking story.
Yes. Thank you for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Having been in news for 15 years, I know it is our responsibility, it is our obligation to inform the public of what's happening. Talk us through a little bit what happened yesterday with this announcement, and do you think the media being so involved and so on this story is doing more harm than good, really scaring people?
Really? Well, I think I always like to err on the side of having more information instead of less. And the news that came out yesterday was really kind of a, something that you need to pay attention to if you're on this drug or considering getting on it. Avandia is a drug that, was first hailed as this big blockbuster drug, one that was going to come and help a lot of people. 18 million Americans suffer from diabetes. Well, anyway, from type 2 diabetes.
Right.
Anyway, now we've got word from the New England Journal of Medicine that there are a lot more possible risks associated with it than initially thought. A 43% increased risk of cardiovascular disease, heart attacks. That's important. That's significant. So it's kind of, you hear that and you get excited and you get scared.
And we're hearing these big numbers, and then experts are saying that's a small risk. That sounds like a lot of numbers to me.
It's the numbers game, and it depends on how you look at numbers. 43% increased risk. Actually, it really went from 10 per 10,000 to 15 per 10,000. So it's 5 more people per 10,000. Yeah, I think that's scary, and you need to look at it. You need to examine it. But when you do the math, that says 43%, 45, 50% increased risk. It sounds awful, but it's still a small risk.
Let me ask you this, though. Correct me if I'm wrong. 2/3, I think, of diabetics die of heart problems. Doesn't this just kind of add and exacerbate that?
It does, and that is the biggest problem with having diabetes, is blood vessel problems, whether it's heart or stroke or kidney or eyes. It's all blood vessel problems. So there's an increased risk than the rest of the population for diabetics. And yeah, adding to that risk doesn't sound good. But not treating diabetes effectively also causes more blood vessel problems. So it's a little bit of weighing the risk versus the benefit. That's what you have to do.
So, Doctor, we have 18 million people who have type 2 diabetes in the United States. We have something like 6 million people who've taken this drug. That's a lot of people possibly affected immediately or potentially affected in the future. What should they do? Should they cease medication, or should they talk to their doctor?
And really, we really need to get the message out. Do not stop your medication. Now you're not treating diabetes. Now you really are going to get problems and the side effects of having diabetes. Stay on your medicine, and the next time you go to your doctor, talk to your doctor. You're not going to build heart disease in 2-3 months when you have your regular appointment with them, and diabetics have fairly regular appointments. Go and talk to them about your drug, Avandia. If you're not going to see them for a year, yeah, I'd probably make an appointment before that. But for the most part, stay on your drug, keep your sugars under control, see your doctor.
So as you were saying previously, this word getting out there and these numbers that are very alarming. Janice, we're seeing some back and forth here between the New England Journal of Medicine and between Glaxo. The information is conflicting. Do you think that this is troubling, that information gets out there, causes alarm, may or may not be accurate?
I think so, but if I were in this situation, what I would do is I'd first go to GlaxoSmithKline's website and find out what exactly are they saying. I'd go to the New England Journal of Medicine and I'd find out what it's saying, and then I'd go and talk to my doctor and sort of find a happy medium for me. I do think you have to sort of weigh the pros and the cons, as you were saying, but it's up to each person to sort of find what best works for himself.
In addition, as to your question, consumers, what should we do now? If you in the media, you have a great platform here, we start at the website, maybe call our doctor. I imagine millions of endocrinologists' offices will be ringing off the hook today. Those phones. We need to talk to our doctor. What else can we do? And what can the media do right now in the next coming days to follow out this story?
You know, I think that we're going to have lots of news stories on this. We'll probably cover this in my paper and papers all around the country. Internet websites are all going to be talking about it. We're all going to be telling the story. You can get some of the information from TV, you can get some from radio, but a lot of this kind of really nitty-gritty things you need to get from a print medium. So I say turn to those.
Let me ask you this. With Vioxx we saw recently too, is this another example of the failure of a drug approval process? Are these drugs getting out there too soon, or are we reacting too soon?
You know, the one job I don't want is to work for the FDA, because if you do it too slow, then everybody yells at you for not bringing a new drug to market fast enough. You do it too fast, you get yelled at for it. Yeah, I don't want that job. So the FDA probably has some problems in its review process, although they do a pretty good job. I mean, they do it slower than all the other countries that are out there. I mean, the FDA protects us more than all the other representative countries.
Do you think they need to do a wider scope of studies?
Well, you know, you're probably never going to find it all. And I honestly, because we've had some things that were out in the market for years and years and then found out later on that there was something else happening in that drug. You know, the Vioxx thing is kind of interesting, is that Vioxx caused a little increased risk, but it was such a good drug for people who had nothing else to get rid of the pain. I think those people, my own personal feeling is this, people and their doctors should make the choice. As a matter of fact, the Vioxx replacement actually causes a reversible medical problem. So if you have the medical problem, then fine, then you and your doctor can work on that. It's been kept off the market, interestingly, by the same researcher that did this study. So the researchers have a dog in the fight too. They actually stand to make a little bit of a name for themselves by going after the FDA. So I'm telling you is that you really do have to listen carefully to what the media is telling you. And this is good media. This is reporting both sides.
Sure.
When it's just a little snippet, you're not getting all the information.
We're getting word, we're getting flooded in the chat rooms. What are people saying?
We are. I mean, people have a lot of concern about these medications that are widely available and then pulled. For example, Pink Elephant saying, my poor mum has taken several drugs that have been pulled from the market. Miss Lauren, the FDA is always approving drugs, then they are pulled off the market. What gives? I am scared to take anything anymore. What reassurance can you offer those people?
I think every time a doctor prescribes a drug, you should be scared to take it. You should know information about it. I mean, you've probably done lots of stories like that. Got to do your research. But on the other hand, there's a risk versus benefit. Every drug has a risk, every drug has a benefit. If you have enough problems that you need to take something, talk to your doctor, understand what those side effects are, and look for those side effects. That doesn't mean you shouldn't take medications to help you.
We thank you both for being here today. And I guess the takeaway, the bottom line, do your homework, do your research, call your doctor if you have any questions.
Stay on the medication until you talk to your doctor. Don't quit.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for being with us. And you're going to stick around and talk about some other issues in the news you can use coming up in just a minute. Thanks again.
Thank you. We're all better informed. And people, of course, like NJ Kitty Cat saying, I've been watching the news and observing that all medicines, of course, have health risks. So information in this case key. Well, we're going to take a closer look at some of the other headlines, such as the woman who says she's discovered a secret cancer cure and why men are being told to stay off certain hotel floors. You're watching iVillage Live.